Hello and welcome again as we delve into the whole restructuring process at Cytonn. I am Matera Holder, and on the couch with me I have a guest who's going to introduce himself before we get into the whole discussion. So kindly introduce yourself.
Very well, thank you very much for inviting me and for hosting me. May I say my name is Charles Wambua. Charles Wambua is a retired bank. Behind me I have got 37 years of banking experience with an international bank. I've dealt both client service, retail banking, SME banking, and also corporate banking. And among those, I have 20 years of managing distressed business portfolios, and therefore very happy to share with you my experience over the years.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you. With regards to Cytonn, who are you?
With regards to Cytonn, I'm a creditor, by and large. After retirement, I used part of my pension to invest in Cytonn. Cytonn had very good offers by that time, investment offers. And therefore, having done due diligence and being the banker I am, I felt it wise to invest in Cytonn because the returns were pretty good and encouraging. So yes, I'm an investor. Besides being an investor, when Cytonn went into problems and the matter went into court and liquidation orders were given by the court, many creditors did not understand what was happening. We only came to realize or get to know, at least me, when the matter went to the official receiver. I got to learn this through the media, the TVs and the like. And therefore, by and large, I managed to get in touch with Cytonn, and in the process, we, after a series of engagement, we were convinced that the program which they came up with of the debt restructuring was viable given the circumstances and given the issues surrounding Cytonn and a recovery of my debt. And therefore, when creditors came together, the unsecured creditors, and in this matter I'm talking about on behalf of the unsecured creditors, we grouped ourselves, we went through the debt restructuring proposal presented to us by the Cytonn team, and in our evaluation, it was the best way out for us. And therefore, creditors came together and they decided to form a team which would profile their interest and manage their interest and help to recover their debt. That is how credit restructuring committee came into place, popularly known as CRC committee. We represent, I was appointed, and we are 7 of us, and out of the 7 members of the CRC, I was elected as the chairman of the CRC. So as I speak now, I am the chair of the CRC, presenting and managing the interest of the unsecured creditors in this recovery process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So being that you are the chairman of that committee, that would say that you support the restructuring process, right?
100%.
So why do you support the restructuring process?
The reason why I support the restructuring process is perhaps threefold. First of all, is based on my banking experience. Over the years and managing distressed businesses, I could see how difficult it was for many of them to come out. And therefore, many of them ended up being liquidated. Others managed to survive through restructuring. And therefore, I have a hand in both exit and restructuring portfolios in my experience. And I felt that having gone round, the CRC team went through all the assets bought by our investment by Cytonn. We visited the Alma, we visited these other properties, 7 of them as presented in the DSP. And having visited those properties, we were convinced beyond any reasonable doubt that restructuring would give at least 100% return to all investors. That is number one, because I didn't want to lose my investment or down the drain. But through restructuring, I have hope of recovering 100% of my restructuring. Remember, liquidation, creditors are at the mercy of the liquidator, because the liquidator, as the ultimate authority given by law, to sell the assets and distribute the proceeds thereof to the creditors as per ranking prescribed in law. Unfortunately, for unsecured creditors in this case, they rank the least. So the unsecured creditors would only be considered by any liquidator having after the other high-ranked creditors have been considered. So that's number 2, why I support restructuring as opposed to liquidation. And finally, the fact that in restructuring, and based by our discussions with CIM, that is Cytonn team, and of course the DSP going through by RIT, the creditors will be at the center of the process. They will control the process. They know how much each asset has been sold for. They will even look for buyers, and therefore they even know how much each creditor should get, so they have control, as opposed to the liquidator, where the creditors have no know-how, who the buyer is, how much the property or the asset is being sold for, and therefore even the payout. They have no control. They are in darkness, so to say. That is the reason why I support restructuring.
Okay. So while looking at the restructuring efforts being put in place, what are some of the specific financial metrics and performance indicators that you are focusing on in order to gauge the success of your efforts to restructure?
Right. I think, first of all, let me say, many of the creditors, they are aged. Majority of them are retirees like me. Majority of them are sick. They have been traumatized by this investment, which went sour. and many of them are under medication. They don't have money. They don't even know how to get their money. And therefore, distressed as we are looking for any opportunity for us to get the best value of our investment. Having gone through the assets which Cytonn bought with our investments, we are convinced that there are very quick kills. For example, like Superior Homes, those are shares which we can sell tomorrow. The shares are valued at 850 million. If we get that 850 million, close to 500,000 will go back to investors. That is money, that is income, which will go a long way to assisting the investors. Now, if for example we go liquidation away in that particular asset, the best, and this is the communication we got from the OR, or from the offer or from the Superior Homes, they will sell the shares at 250 million. That is exactly the same value the shares were bought 4 years down the drain. And 4 years, they want to buy the same shares at the same price or lower. And we are saying, based on the investment value, these shares are worth 850 million. So you can see the cut between 850 million and what is proposed, the other side, 250 million. 600 million gone down the drain. So it's important for people to be patient and we get the best value. If we sell Kilimani, for example, Kilimani is not developed per se. We'll get close to almost, I think close to substantial amount. Let me not be specific on the figure because I don't have it with me right now. But if we sell that, it's a very easy kill. It's a prime property in Milimani area where our headquarters, the Cytonn headquarters were. That property was bought by our investment money. If we put that in property for private sale, we'll get good money. And the same will go to investors. If we let that property be sold through liquidation, we will get peanuts or nothing. And therefore, the reason why, yes, this restructuring gives us control and it gives us get much value of the assets. Remember, these assets were bought by our money. These assets, over the years, 4 years down the lane, they have increased in value. And therefore, in addition to what we invested, we expect even to get interest, more returns above what we invested. That can only come through restructuring. And therefore, the reason why we feel this is the best route for us. It might take a bit of while, but I urge people to be patient. If we want our money tomorrow, it might not be possible because of the court cases, the strangles, and the court process is not in our control. But if we can get out of that, then we will move very fast, get our people money, at least let them enjoy a bit of their investment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So in 1 minute or less, we do know that there are stakeholders who are skeptical about restructuring. So if you would address them, that is your camera. In a minute, tell them something.
First of all, I want to say we invested in Cytonn because we believed in it. Nobody was forced to invest in Cytonn. And having done so voluntarily, unfortunately, Cytonn went into business problems, more particularly during the COVID time. Many businesses went under, and Cytonn was not exceptional. And I want to say that we went through as CRC through the assets as provided by Cytonn and as filed in court. These are the assets. We went through them. We even visited physically those properties. Some of them are at 80% near completion. Others are at different stages, 50%. Others are not even developed, but they're in prime areas. And I want to say that if you have not gone through these assets, you have not visited these assets and seen them, you'd think that whatever is being proposed by Cytonn is not going to work. But having gone through the assets, visited the assets, looked at the business proposals presented, we are convinced that if we went step by step and complete some of these assets, they will give them value, and they will give us more returns. And then we shall be able to sell those properties to willing buyer, willing seller at higher price without any business duress, because we will sell them at market values, not at distressed value like liquidation.
Okay.
So I want to tell people to be patient, give this restructuring an opportunity. It is going to give us back our money. But the only problem we have now here is that we have several matters in court, some of which have gone to Court of Appeal. There are several court cases in High Court because there are many interested parties in Cytonn, various investors. Some matters have moved from High Court, they are in Court of Appeal. That process, we have no control. And having no control with those processes, we are at the mercy of the judiciary. The only process and the only thing we are item we are in control is to call creditors meeting and speak as one and speak their voice and tell those court, tell anybody, these are our properties and this is what we are saying about them, and anybody will listen to us. Let us be firm in what we are believing. Let us be sure on what we are believing, and let us support this process. I know some of the creditors went to court. They filed matters against Cytonn. Yes, that was their right. And by the way, I want to congratulate them. We are where we are because of them. So those creditors who went to court and filed matters against Cytonn, I think they did us a favor, because that's why we are here, and that's why we are where we are. But again now, having reached where we are, it is time to sit down, to sit back and say, oh, wait a minute, where is this process taking us? How long is it going to take us? And therefore, say, yes, we need to look at this process again and see the best way to recover. Because why they went to court is they wanted to recover their money, which now they cannot get. And they are not assured of getting 100%. So it is time for everybody to reconsider and come back and sit down with like-minded people and get the best way out.